Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Rosewater. We're on the next leg of our journey. We just need to chat to a couple of people. We talked to Jake last time. Let's talk to Danny this time.
Hey, Danny. Let's talk.
Sure.
I'm still impressed at how you just jumped in after that kid.
I'm just glad we were able to save him. It's nice to be on a team again, like old times.
A team? Like those folks you mentioned before?
Yeah. We were a posse. My best friend Petey was our leader. Petey and I left El Presidio along with 5 of our friends. We were looking for new lives out on the frontier. I told my parents we were pooling our money together to buy a farm, which was true. Except, we didn't actually have any money. Petey took charge and we all started off working odd jobs here and there. But he got impatient. He got it into his head that it would be easy money to rob a stagecoach. I didn't much care for the idea, but once Petey put his mind to something, there was no turning back. So the big day came, and things didn't go so well. Petey didn't make it. I was the only one who did.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I just wish I'd said something more. Push back harder on the whole idea, but honestly, talking about it helped. So, thanks, I guess.
How about that trapper family, huh?
It's nice to see good people like that out here in the wilderness. Pretty easy to get jaded and expect nothing but bandits and mountebanks, you know?
The wagon is slowing down again.
See anything out there, Danny?
Yeah, this is a small building.
Let's go take a look.
Oh, thank God you're here. I was starting to think no one would ever turn up.
What's the matter?
The post office has been overrun.
Let me guess. Rats?
Rats. Rats would be welcome friends compared to the evil in there.
Evil? What evil?
The deceiver. The father of lies.
The devil's in there.
You're saying the devil is in your post office?
I always thought the devil was in the
Yes,
details.
just like in that story. He lives in there.
Wonderful. Another maniac. Frontier's lousy with them.
Then
Sounds
again,
like a big cat.
maybe not.
Like, what do you get in the desert? Like, in America? I mean, like, would it be a puma? Lynx or something like that, perhaps? But we'll go and we'll go and have a look, I guess. But I was just going to say, what's quite cool about this game is that all the
What's this jug for?
It's my supply of drinking water.
these kind of distractions along the road, they're randomly picked for a pool. I don't know if in a single playthrough you even get to see them all. There's that many. So I think that's certainly the order is random. But apparently at the end there's a new Game Plus mode, which is basically the same, but means you can actually choose which of these little vignettes that you get to do, which is kind of cool. So if you know that you missed any, you can go back and do them
Wanted,
again.
Gina Fuller, the demon. Wonder if Mr. Postman isn't just susceptible to the power of suggestion.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and see the devil.
Wait, what are you doing? Don't go in there. He'll devour your soul.
Excuse me?
Just stay away from there, please. Wait, what are you...
Oh, is he
Excuse me?
Just...
is he really not letting us in? Okay, what else can we do? We just talk to people, I suppose.
Phil?
Harley?
What do you think, Phil? Is that the devil in there?
If it is, I am not going to be the one to find out.
El Diablo.
Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
Any thoughts on what could be inside the post office?
Whatever it is, it sounds scary. I don't think it's the devil, though.
Nadine?
Yes?
What's your take on all this?
I'm not sure, really. Obviously, it's nothing supernatural. I believe the explanation will be far more mundane.
Hey, Jake?
Yeah?
Do you believe this fellow? About it being the devil in there?
I don't doubt he believes it, but I also think the poor fella's got a wild imagination.
Hey, Miss Johnson?
What do you need?
What do you think's in the office?
Not the devil, that's for sure.
Oh, I told you this guy, I suppose.
Mr. Postman?
Yes? What is it?
I'd like you to tell me exactly what led up to your current predicament, and give me every detail.
Very well. I arrived last night with a load of mail from Bly, up north. Passed the night here and spent the morning sorting and tidying, getting ready to continue on to the next station in Wolf Spring. About midday, I stepped outside to ready my horse. Then I heard the most awful noises coming from inside. Sheila heard them too, and bolted off like a shot. Saving her own skin, I can hardly blame her. When I looked in, I beheld a most dreadful scene. Blood everywhere. Sounds of snarling and crunching bones, and his horrid shadow on the wall. Huge and horned. I ran out here to pray for help, and ain't moved since.
What was that you said before about a story? That this was just like in some story?
Of course. You must know the famous short story by H.W. Montesquieu. The Devil Lives in the Post Office. A most chilling tale. Of course, I used to think it was just one of Mr. Montesquieu's celebrated flights of imagination. But now, I suspect he must have known something the rest of us didn't.
Big fan of horror fiction, are you?
Well, you know, no more than anyone else, I suppose. Just something to while away the long hours on the road.
Isn't life horrific enough all on its own without thinking up new, imaginary ways for things to be awful?
Ah, but the devil is very real, miss. He'd only like you to think otherwise.
What makes you think it's the devil and not something else?
What else could it possibly be?
I can think of a few possibilities.
Go and have a look for yourself, then.
There we go.
You'll
Let us in
not
now.
doubt once you see it with your own eyes.
Keep calm. I'm going to try and take care of this.
God be with you.
Okay, well, we have an open window.
This has got to be how that thing got in. Gruesome. I hope that's not human blood. What in the ether? This devil lives in every post office. I have a feeling the mail will be delayed today. Glad it's not my job to organize those. Whoa, that's close enough.
I don't think I really have anything to... Okay, what about the
This
light?
lantern seems to be what's casting that shadow.
Can I throw the arrowhead at it? No.
There's some tea in here. It's got a nice fruity aroma. Kind of sweet.
What about this? Can I throw this?
That's not...
Maybe just go back out and talk to them again?
Mr. Postman?
Yes? What is it?
Aren't we pretty far from civilization? Why have a post office here?
Oh, not at all. We're just outside the delivery area for Shivering Pines. 10 homesteads within a 2-mile radius. Anyhow, it mostly serves as a transfer and rest station for carriers like me. But next time they ask me to take this route, I'll tell them to go to hell. 'Cause that's where they sent me.
Keep calm. I'm going to try and take care of this.
God be with you.
Talk to the group again. Maybe Jake or
Hey,
Danny have
Jake?
some ideas.
Yeah?
Got anything on you that might help the situation?
Aside from my gun, you mean? Well, I got my pocket mirror, but I don't see how that can help.
That could be very helpful.
I'll take that mirror for a spell if you don't mind.
Okay. Curious to see what you do with it.
Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
Would you happen to have anything on you that could help the situation?
Just my pistols. They could be of use once you figure out what's in there, I guess.
Okay, well, someone else might have something
Hey,
else.
Miss Johnson?
What do you need?
Do you have anything I can use to deal with whatever's in there?
I might, if we knew exactly what was in there.
That's all I get, is it?
Nadine?
Yes?
Don't suppose you've got anything that might help?
Help with what precisely?
Good point. I should find out more about what we're up against. Phil?
Harley?
Are you carrying anything that might be useful?
I left my holy water back in New Spain.
Alright, well, maybe the mirror will... we might be able to get a reflection of what's in there. Not quite sure what to reflect off, though. We need another mirror, but maybe we can angle it. It's a kitty.
How about that? Seems our devil is just a hungry wildcat.
Alright, well, maybe we'll go and talk to Nadine or Lola.
Got some good news for you.
Oh?
It's not the devil in there, it's a wildcat.
I knew it.
Jumped in through the window, looks like. Right now, he's having a fine time feasting on a fresh rabbit.
Oh. Are you certain? The devil takes many forms.
I'd stake my life on it.
So what do we do about it?
I'm open to suggestions.
Easiest thing to do would be to scare it off. I could fire a warning shot. That ought to spook it.
I'm not sure. It seems dangerous. I don't think I could lasso it safely.
I do have some firecrackers the trapper's son gave me. I could scare it off with those.
The poor creature's probably frightened to death.
It sure didn't seem that way.
Animals often act vicious to mask their fear.
Not that different to humans.
True enough.
Okay, maybe has she got an idea of what might help? I mean, the firecracker seems like an extreme
Nothing
solution.
to say, really.
Okay, what about Lola?
Hey, Miss Johnson?
What do you need?
Any tips for dealing with wildcats?
Yes. Stay away from them.
We can't just leave this one in there.
Why not? It'll wander off on its own eventually.
Come on, help me out, would you?
Like I said before, keep your distance. Avoid direct confrontation. Best bet is to scare it off.
Maybe just shooting
Hey,
the gun
Danny?
would do
Yes,
it?
Harley.
No, don't shoot the cat. Okay, maybe the firecrackers is the
Phil?
least extreme
Harley?
solution.
Let's see if you can spook that cat with some of your razzle-dazzle.
It would be my pleasure. Anda! Success! The beast jumped out the window.
What about that other noise? Damn it!
I was going to say we didn't start a
Wildcat must
fire,
have
did
knocked
we?
over that oil lamp when it took off out of here.
Santa Maria! This is not good. We need to do something, and fast.
Okay, well, there was that. Whatever this is.
Someone give me a hand with this? That was a close one.
Yes, a bit too close.
What? What happened?
Slight
The
fire.
inside of the office got a little singed, but we managed to put out the fire.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Funny, didn't see him in there with the bucket. Guess we should head back.
God bless you folks.
On we go. How many dots are we going to go this time? 3 dots? 4 dots? We're still so far. You have to imagine at some point we're going to have like a big jump forward or something, but not as yet. Okay, let's start again with Phil then. We'll
Phil?
work that down.
Harley?
Meeting those trappers was fortunate.
Are you attempting to make a pun?
What? No. I would never. Puns are the lowest form of humor.
Aha! And what would you consider the highest?
I can always go in for some good old-fashioned gut-twisting irony myself.
Ah, I see. Very literary of you. Anyway, yes, I am glad we encountered them. They were quite entertaining, especially the father. Seeing him loosen up after a few swigs of rum was quite satisfying.
How are you liking the guitar?
It is a fine instrument. I have not had the opportunity to play in some time.
We'll talk more later.
I look forward to it.
Hey, Nadine.
Hello, Harley.
Did you get a chance to speak with Mrs. Fortine?
I did, for a short while.
What did she have to say?
Oh, she was just curious about my background. Told me about hers, that sort of thing. It was a nice conversation.
The Fortine family was nice, weren't they?
It was incredible to see such a strong family bond. They depend on each other completely for their livelihood and survival.
I have to say, I've learned quite a bit about coyotes lately.
They are fascinating creatures, aren't they? I'm sure you can understand why there are so many stories and legends about them.
Huh. There's a lady running toward the road. What the heck is she doing?
Madre de Dios!
I'd better see what's going on. What is it? Bandits? Highwaymen?
Worse. Performers.
Good day to you, travelers.
What's so good about it then? And what are you thinking, running out in front of the wagon like that?
I apologize for the theatrics. I fear it's in my nature.
And just who are you, anyway?
Who am I? Honestly, I suppose I'm, well, desperate.
That much is clear. You running away or something?
Heavens no, I could never do that. I'm the impresario of this theater troupe. Name's Kate Hatomi. Our show opens next week, and I'd be fibbing if I said it was going well.
So I'm guessing you want us to help you in some way?
Ah, very astute. All I ask is an hour of your time. We've been rehearsing this play for so long. We're all too close to the material. We need fresh eyes and unbiased opinions. If you could but watch our rehearsal and share your honest, unvarnished impressions, you would be doing us a good turn. The performance will be gratis, of course.
Sounds like you're asking us to be consultants. Is this a paid gig?
I'm afraid our budget would not stretch to permit that, but I could offer you free tickets to see the production when it officially premieres, as well as my most sincere gratitude.
What do you think, Miss Johnson?
I think it sounds like an excellent chance to get a few winks. I'll park just over there. Y'all have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself and all the Queen's Mid-Atlantic players, welcome! This is a peek behind the curtain, if you will, at a work in progress. I thank you most humbly for your indulgence, and warmly invite you to share your impressions following the rehearsal. And now, please enjoy the show. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a beautiful and charming princess.
Oh, I love my land. The people are kind, the water fresh, and the days are sunny and bright.
The princess was loved and admired by everyone in the land, except one. An evil wizard coveted the kingdom and kidnapped the princess, intending to marry her and gain the throne. To ensure she could not escape, he summoned a terrifying dragon to guard her.
Is that it?
However, all was not lost. For a young hero rose to the challenge.
I shall battle the dragon and save the princess. That is, if my dear mother lets me. I said, if my mother lets me, of course.
Faye, that's your cue. Faye? Where the hell is Faye?
I don't know. Last I saw her, she was in her tent.
Oh, for crying out loud! I'm sorry, folks. I don't know what I was thinking. It's clear we won't be getting anywhere with this rehearsal. You can change out of your costume now, Dwayne. We're done here. Martina? Quentin? Same goes for you.
But I spent hours on my makeup.
And I spent months on this show! Look where that's gotten us! everything I do to keep all this together, and you lot can't even turn up on stage now and then to hit a mark and say a few lines. Off with you, I need to think. I really must apologize for wasting your time. I knew the show needed some work. I didn't realize it wasn't fit to perform.
There must be some way we can help with the show.
You
Let's
took
be in the show.
words right out of my mouth.
Are you sure? Much as it pains me, I can't honestly say we aren't in need of help.
Certainly.
Well, I'm curious to hear your suggestions. But right now, we need to find out what's wrong with Faye. Your doctor friend went to examine her, but I think she's just having one of her tantrums. You know how actors can be. Or perhaps you don't. In which case, consider yourself lucky. I'm going back to the stage. Come see me if you have any ideas.
So, any ideas?
Perhaps. Excuse me. I'm going to have another look at the stage.
Danny and I are gonna go talk to the two fellers playing the wizard and hero. I think you should help Miss Redbird see to that Faye woman. Anyhow, we'll see if we can't get this show in halfway decent shape. Come on, Danny boy.
Also, the female lead, I mean, we need to do something about that accent, because it wasn't entirely clear what she was saying. Up and at them.
A cylindrograph. It's for playing music on wax cylinders.
Oh, another visitor. Who
I think
are
I know
you?
what the problem might be.
Harley Leger. And you are?
Faye Davies. I don't expect it's a name you've heard. And as I was explaining to your friend here, not a name I expect you'll hear very much in the future.
Yep.
Mrs. Davies, I would advise moderation in regards to that brandy.
Dear girl, I understand you like to dabble in medical matters. Let me assure you that this is the only medicine that works for me.
Okay, well, let's not just grab her whiskey. Let's just talk to her first.
Mrs. Davies?
What is it?
Why weren't you on stage today? Is something wrong?
Something wrong. Something wrong. Exactly what aspect of my current condition would suggest to you that anything is right?
What's got you so upset?
I'm about to lose my place here, that's what. Turned out on the dusty road to fend for myself. I'm simply overcome with the sheer injustice of it all.
You think you're being dismissed? Why's that?
Oh, it's a long, long story, but what it comes down to is finances, or lack thereof. Kate has been tightening the belt lately. She says our performances haven't been attracting the crowds they once did. But even so, we aren't doing that badly. All of us have taken quite deep cuts to our usual allowance. It still doesn't seem to be enough. Naturally, I, being the most recent addition to the troupe, am the first up to the chopping block. If you ask me, something doesn't add up. I know for a fact that our run in Bois de Quivo is quite respectable, yet apparently
Someone's
our
skimming off the
financial
top.
future is dangling over the precipice by a fraying thread. It's all more than a tad suspicious.
So you suspect Miss Hitomi is taking more than her share?
We've all suspected it for some time, but I'm the only one who's willing to speak up about it. Everyone else knows I'll be the first to go, so they keep their heads down and wait to reap my share.
You've accused Miss Hitomi?
Of course not. I haven't got any proof, but you can bet I would if I did.
What can you tell me about the other players?
Oh, such sweethearts. They've taken me in like a second family. Martine, especially. She's the daughter I never had. Dwayne is a good boy, but he keeps to himself. And dear Quentin. He and I have something of a friendly rivalry. Although he can get quite competitive at times, the old ham.
If you were let go, what would you do?
Oh, God, please don't ask me such things. I can't bear to think about it.
It's a serious question. Everyone needs a backup plan.
I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, what will I do? Kate couldn't be so heartless. Will they really just let me go? Will no one speak up for me? God, help me!
There now. I'm sure there's a solution. How long have you been a member of this troupe?
Oh, not long at all. Less than a year. I was the last one to join.
What did you do before you were a Queen's Mid-Atlantic player?
I was with another outfit based up in Fawcett, the Davies Traveling Spectacular. 15 years we were together. Anton, my husband, was our director, and I was the star. When I got too old to play the princesses and heroines, Anton would cast me as the ravishing queen. He always made sure I had a spot on center stage. 16 months ago, he passed away in a stagecoach accident. An enormous tragedy.
I'm terribly sorry.
So were we all. Anton was the fiercely beating heart of that troupe. Absolutely irreplaceable. The others couldn't imagine going on without him. So everyone just went their separate ways. Just like that, everything was gone. My heart's love, my director, my troupe, my livelihood. I'm sorry.
So, how did you come to join Miss Hitomi's troupe?
Oh, the traveling theater world is quite small, you know. We all know one another and meet on the road from time to time. Kate heard what happened and wrote me a letter of condolence. We corresponded for a while. Eventually, she said she was passing by Fawcett and offered to take me in. Quite simply, she took pity on me.
What drew you to the stage?
I've known I wanted to act since I was a girl. I would put on shows for my parents and the village children. I traveled to Fawcett to audition for Anton Davies' Traveling Spectacular. He had just formed the troupe then. First, I became his star actress, and soon enough, his wife.
I'll just leave you to it.
All right, well, we can have a look at this, I guess.
Mrs. Davies seems quite fond of this stuff.
She'd freak out if I tried to take it.
Unhand that brandy. I need it for my nerves.
Yeah, okay, what else we got here?
A few books and a collection of wax cylinders in that box. Let's see. There are a few wax cylinders here.
Let's leave that for now. We might need to have a very specific one for something.
A few books and a collection. A poster for some show I've never heard of called The Dissembling Mechanism. Apparently it opened on New Year's Day.
Let's have a quick chat with
Hey, Nadine.
Hello, Harley.
Did you examine Mrs. Davies?
I did.
And what's your medical opinion?
I couldn't find anything wrong with her physically. At least nothing that an excess of brandy wouldn't explain. But she's in no state of mind to be performing.
I don't believe one needs to be a medical professional to draw that conclusion, my dear.
What's your opinion of the show?
Yes, please tell us. Don't be shy. I'd like to hear what you think.
I didn't quite understand it, actually. Perhaps it would make more sense if we had seen the whole thing.
Dear girl, I truly doubt that would have made much of a difference.
I'll see you later.
All right, let's head out. We could talk to this lady.
Hello, Miss Martina, was it?
Yeah, Martina Holder. I am sorry we could not finish the show for you.
No worries. My companions and I are trying to help your director make it better.
Ah, good. We do need the help.
When did you join this troupe?
Oh, about 4 years ago. Then my English was not so good, so I did not get many parts with words, but I am getting more and more lines in the new shows.
What were you doing before joining this troupe?
I was living in Bright Bay, working as an art model. One evening, the artist I modeled for took me to the theater to one of Miss Hatomi's shows. Afterward, he told me he was leaving to go to work for a new patron in Italy. He could no longer keep me.
So he took you out to lessen the blow?
Not exactly. It turned out he knew Miss Hatomi. He had painted some backdrops for her. He took me backstage after the show and asked her to let me audition. I was shaking. I cannot even remember what I said. I had never acted before, you see. But fortunately for me, Miss Hatomi decided to take me on. Otherwise, I would have been out on the street.
I'd like to know about your castmates.
They are fine people, and I am lucky to know them. Mr. Ellis always has stories and jokes to make me laugh. He reminds me of a big bear. He's also a very fine actor, and he has performed on stages in great cities all over Europe. Dwayne is very nice, but he's also very shy. He does not speak much with me or any of the others. I have always thought it is funny that an actor is so shy, but when he is on stage, one would never know. And Mrs. Davies is like a mother to me. She cares for us very much and wants to make sure everyone is healthy and happy. Although she does nag a lot. My real mother did not nag so.
Do you suspect that Miss Hatomi might be keeping money from you and your castmates?
What? No, never. Miss Hatomi would not do such a thing. Who has told you this? Was it Mrs. Davies?
Well, yes.
I am not surprised. I think that of all of us, she is easily the most dramatic.
Goodbye, Miss Holder.
Lovely to be speaking with you.
There's something here. We'll have a look at this.
Someone kept a copy of a local newspaper.
I wonder if it's got a review. Let's have a look at this. Travelling players perform Camelot in the Park before bemused onlookers. Picnickers, ramblers and families intent on enjoying a leisurely afternoon in Las Virgenes Pelican Park last Sunday were doubtless left befuddled by a nearly incoherent plein-air rendition of the chivalric drama Camelot, staged there by impresario Miss Hatomi's itinerant theatre troupe, the Mid-Atlantic Players. The polyglot players, hailing from all over Vespuccia and the far reaches of the globe, gargled and fumbled through their lines in a stilted, faux medieval patois riddled with thees and thous and forsooths, as they strove to bring King Arthur's court to life amidst the palms and fountains of the West Lawn. Evidently in the habit of travelling light, the performers were obliged to make do with next to nothing in the way of sets, costumes or props that might enliven the spectacle and in any way further the illusion of a courtly medieval setting for the drama. As to drama, the plot was paper thin, a stock tale of good overcoming evil, wholly lacking in subtlety and nuance, not to mention any trace of the courtliness and charm one might expect in a romance from days of yore. The legions of nappers, taking advantage of the late afternoon haze to doze on the soft grass, evidently found little in the way of thrills during the proceedings to rouse them from their slumber, perhaps a more fitting description of the scene. Days of bore. Oh dear, brutal. Oh, there's something about Bennett Clark here as well. He's the guy we were looking for, the Wizard of Aethericity. I mean, he's the guy we are looking for, kind of. Well, at least what happened to his money. Anywho, what do we go in here next? This might be Miss Hatomi's tent, I suppose. Have a look.
The desk is covered in papers. Lots of notes. What a mess. Most of these seem to be show notes. Here's a list of names. Othello, Carondelet, Dissembling, Delphi. Wonder what that means. It's a poster for a musical show called Carondelet. It opened on June 2nd. Must be one of Miss Hatomi's previous shows.
There are... What is this? Oh, okay. I suppose it's an empty crate in the foreground. I thought it was like she dug out like a basement or something.
A poster for The Mystery at Delphi. Opened on November 6th.
Well, that was the October... Well, okay, October 6th was the review.
The actor's life doesn't seem to allow for much in the way of comfort. A traveling trunk. Looks like it's been quite a few places.
Okay, what do we got here?
A pair of leather boxing gloves.
Why don't we take it?
These might be useful. If my eyes don't deceive me, that's a false compartment. Just need to figure out how to open it. No way I can... All sorts of costumes, fake beards, and other theatrical accessories. All sorts of costumes... A brass button. A brass button.
I would imagine these are something to do with the false compartment,
A
no?
brass button.
Maybe she needs something to kind of give Harley that clue, you know? Leave that for now. Come back to that. So we could let's go this way as we're on this side. Quentin Ellis. He's the older dude, isn't he?
No mistaking who this wagon belongs to.
We'll do this first.
Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
You fellas talking about anything interesting?
Dwayne's showing me his stunt sword play. He's supposed to battle the dragon at the end of the play. I've tried giving him a few pointers, but it's not going so great.
What did you think of the show?
Well, I'll put it this way. If one of Jake's shows went that way, I'd be looking for another job.
Talk to you later, Danny.
It wasn't
See
good.
you.
Suppose being an actor requires a certain attention to one's physique. That thing's been through the ringer a few times. Hey there.
Oh, hello.
What are you doing with that sword?
Practicing for the show. I didn't get to do my big fight scene with the dragon.
That sword seems to be giving you some trouble.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time getting the hang of it. The balance on this thing is terrible, and I'm always afraid of breaking it. I never liked working with prop weapons. But as long as we're doing medieval romances, I guess I'm stuck with this sword.
How did you end up on board with this crew?
Oh, I met Miss Hitomi and Mr. Ellis back east when they passed through my town in Appalachia. Snuck out of the house to see the show. I went backstage after to ask if I could audition to join. Miss Hitomi said no. So, after they packed up for the night, I stowed away in the wagon. Rode halfway to La Roche before they found me. That was when my real audition happened. Mr. Ellis spoke up for me. He said, "Now, Katie, my dear, you would be a bloody fool to leave the lad behind after a performance like that."
What were you doing before joining this troupe?
Working on my parents' farm. It was a rough life. Wasn't much to my liking. No glamour, no surprise, no fun, no opportunity to meet anyone interesting. And my father was very strict. All he wanted was for me to marry our neighbor's daughter so I would inherit his land and grow our family's holdings. Eventually, I realized I would die if I stayed any longer. My soul would die anyway, so I left.
How did you know you wanted to act?
I always liked listening to other people, hearing how they talked. Used to practice in front of a mirror and try to imitate them. Sometimes I'd dress up to get the look just right. Ma didn't like that much.
What do you think of your fellow troupe members?
Some days I hate them. Most days I love them. And any day I would die for them. We're a strange little family, you know? Mr. Ellis and Miss Hitomi are a squabbling ma and pa. Dear boy, you must make more time for yourself. There are too few hours in the day as it is. Oh, leave the boy alone, Quentin. He can decide how to spend his time. And Miss Davies is our busybody aunt. Are you comfortable? Have you got everything you need? Is that costume too itchy?
So that would make Martina like your sister?
No, not quite.
Are you sweet on Martina?
With all due respect, that's none of your concern, ma'am.
Say, you're good at imitating other people.
Oh, thanks. It's always been kind of a specialty of mine. Used to get me in a lot of trouble back home, so I only do it for laughs nowadays.
I've heard a rumor that Miss Hitomi might be keeping some extra funds. Know anything about that?
Oh, sure, I've heard that rumor too, but I don't much believe it. Miss Hitomi takes good care of us. She'd never cheat us out of our earnings.
Thanks. You can get back to your training.
Thanks, ma'am.
Feels like we might need to put on a different type of play. Maybe make some Good, maybe use of his sort of mimicry and less of his bad stage swordplay.
Ah, one of your companions has decided to join us.
This is Harley Leger. She used to be a performer of sorts herself, you know.
You don't say. What sort?
I was a fighter. Not sure that really counts.
My dear, if an audience paid money to come see you, that counts as performing in my book. I'm Quentin Ellis, by the by. Delighted to make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
So, Othello was another one of the plays mentioned, wasn't it?
Quentin Ellis is Othello, premiering October 7th.
So, yeah, October 6th. So this was... They would have done Othello afterwards, so that wouldn't have been the awful one. I don't know if that's significant. Just kind of mentioning it. Have a look around.
Mr. Ellis seems rather versatile. Lots of notes and sketches of different costumes and disguises. That is quite a lot of makeup. Could I have a moment, Mr. Ellis?
Of course, my dear.
Just how long have you been a part of this troupe?
Why, since before its inception. That is to say, Kate and I have known each other since well before this incarnation of the troupe was formed. We met in Paris, you see, back in 27.
What did you do before joining the troupe?
I was classically trained at the York Theatrical Academy. I performed all over England before decamping for the continent. When I met Katie, I was touring Europe, playing before the crowned heads. Why, my performance as Othello received a standing ovation from Archduke Hubert of Austria.
What drew you to the stage?
Ah, the eternal question. What drew you to the ring?
Money. Found out my tolerance for pain was higher than my tolerance for hunger.
I see, an empty belly is a demanding muse indeed. For me, it was love of the art. I was born with it.
Paris, you say? What was that like?
Ah, those were the days, wild and carefree. We found welcome from a public receptive to our more experimental forays. Nothing like the audiences you find here, mind. Dusty farmers and unlettered cowpokes, the lot of them.
I'd like to know about the others in your troupe.
Fishing for nasty gossip, are we? Unless you have a couple of glasses and a bottle or two of very good liquor stashed somewhere about your person, you won't be getting any of that from me. Truly, they are good people, and I cherish every one of them. We rely on one another. Granted, we have our occasional quarrels, but what family doesn't? It's true that none of them have my training and decades of stage experience, so naturally they look to me for guidance and mentorship.
I heard a rumor that Miss Hitomi might be misappropriating the troupe's funds.
Poppycock, pure hearsay. I'll bet Faye put that poison in your mind. I have known Katie longer than anyone. She is many things, but never a thief.
Appreciate the chat.
The pleasure was all mine, dear.
Gonna have a quick chat with Jake, I suppose. Then we'll head to the stage.
Yeah, Harley?
You seem quite at home among these performers.
Sure. These are my kind of people. Old Quentin and I have been trading tales about life in showbiz. You ought to stick around and have a listen. You might learn something.
How did you find the show?
Well, there's definitely room for improvement.
I'll just be on my way.
Right, yeah, let's go back to the stage tent. See what's going on in there.
Not terrible as far as props go, but it could use some extra oomph.
Fire,
I bet
maybe.
Jake wishes his show's backdrop was half as realistic. Phil?
Harley?
What was your opinion of the performance?
It was not to my taste. However, with some improvements, it could be entertaining.
All right, see you later. Miss Hitomi,
Yes?
What do you think would make the show better?
God, where do I begin? Faye's in a black mood. Quentin thinks his character lacks depth. Martina's unintelligible. And Dwayne's swordplay doesn't even rise to the level of farce. And naturally, theater's all about imagination. But with the quality of our set and props, I fear we are asking rather too much of our audience in that department. I'm this close to packing it all in.
When did you put this troupe together?
As it exists now? Oh, it's been about 5 years, I should say. That's when Quentin and I came over to Vespuccia.
What were you doing before starting this troupe?
I spent some time in London, then went traveling around Europe doing this and that, until I met Quentin.
Have you performed yourself, or do you stay out of the spotlight?
Me? Oh no, I haven't been on stage since Paris. Quentin and I used to do a little magic show, if you can believe it.
No fooling?
It was a very long time ago. Not worth remembering, honestly.
I want to hear about your cast.
Oh, they all have their talents. They wouldn't be in my troupe otherwise. But I don't hold with talking about people behind their backs. Why don't you get to know them yourself?
What's wrong with Quentin's character?
Not a thing! Everyone loves to hate the evil wizard.
He used to have a magic
He's a guaranteed
act.
crowd pleaser. But Quentin thinks the role lacks depth. That his talents as an actor, and they are considerable, are going to waste. And yes, perhaps he has a point, but for God's sake, this is not the Royal Arcadium! We performers have a saying. There are no small roles, only small-minded, puffed-up thespians who suppose that entertaining the common man is somehow beneath them. I love Quentin, really I do, but I've had it up to here with his carping and grousing. He doesn't listen to me, but you're welcome to try bringing him down to earth if you'd like.
What's the problem with Martina?
Weren't you listening? She doesn't so much say her lines as
Yeah, I did
chew on
notice
them
that.
and cough them out. She's a sweet girl, and her physical performance is outstanding. The things she can do with just her eyes. I'm loath to cut her part or take away the few lines she already has, but unless she finds some way to magically rid herself of that blasted Teutonic accent, I may have to.
You don't think the swordplay is good enough?
Setting aside that our prop swords are as likely to crumble to bits or give the players paper cuts as they are to make it through a scene intact, it's just not very convincing or compelling. Dwayne either needs to get more adept at handling them, or we need to rethink the whole sword thing. Thank God this play doesn't feature a real sword-fighting duel, but it does need a big climax where the hero slays the dragon. How are we supposed to do that without a sword?
What can we do to make your set and props better?
The best thing we've got is the dragon head, but it's not exactly intimidating, is it? Your friend over there said he might have an idea to make it better. Honestly, at this point, I'm all ears.
I had a chat with Mrs. Davies. She seems to think her position's in jeopardy.
What? Why would she think that?
Are you saying you're not planning on letting her go?
Of course not, especially not so close to opening night. What a ridiculous notion! Honestly, I don't know where Faye gets these ideas.
So long.
Take care.
All right, let's start to work through some of these issues then.
Harley?
Had any?
Yeah, this dragon head is amusing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
With some pyrotechnics, it could really impress a crowd.
You want to make it breathe fire?
Ah, indeed. Far more effective, wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. But how do you intend to pull it off?
I can rig it up quite easily, but I need a fuel source. If you can find me some high-proof alcohol, we should
Or
be
some
set.
brandy.
All right. See you later.
All right, well, that's what we've got to do with that. So maybe if we cheer up Faye, she'll let us take the brandy.
Mrs. Davies?
What is it?
I spoke with Miss Hitomi, and she said she has no plans to let you go.
Well, of course she would say that. That's how it works in this business. All seems well and good until the monthly budget is drawn up, and then the trapdoor opens beneath you and you swing.
So you don't trust Miss Hitomi's word?
I don't trust anyone's word. Only ink on paper.
I'll just leave you to it.
All right, well, let's have a look at these wax tablets again. Maybe that's something to do with Martina. What have we got? Maybe this would help with the climactic battle?
his music for Twin's character in our last show.
I take it he was the hero in that one too?
Yeah, that is right. He's playing all the heroes.
Okay, can we take them all?
I don't want to be juggling these.
This was the music we used for Mr. Ellis in the show we did before.
What character did he play there?
A train robber.
I don't know quite what Harley's getting out of this, but I'm going to keep going through the wax tablets and finding out when they were kind of used. I expect maybe we used them in the show. But just in case something does something different.
Oh, I love this one. This was the first song I learned in English, you know.
You don't say. How does it go?
All of the little maidens go strolling along. All of the little boys come to sing them a song. All of the little children start dancing in line. And all of them have such a wonderful time.
She can pronounce that properly.
All have a wonderful time.
Can we change her lines so they only use those words?
Her accent all but disappears when she sings.
Maybe make it a musical. Okay. We do anything to make
What
a contract here?
Othello, Carondelet, Dissembling, Delphi. Wonder what that means.
Another look at this. I don't think we've really hit the nail on the head yet with what this is all about. I'm going to click on all these though.
All sorts of costumes.
I mean, it's got to relate to
No
this,
way
right?
I can. If I just need to.
Alright, we'll come back. We could speak to Kate again. Maybe we can suggest making it a musical and tell her about Faye's maybe needing written
Miss Hitomi?
stuff.
Yes?
Okay, hang on.
Take care. I haven't got time to be admired.
Okay. If we talk to Martina again.
Miss Holder?
Yeah?
I must say, you've got a beautiful singing voice.
Oh, why thank you.
I couldn't help but notice how clearly your words come out in song.
Yeah, you are not the first to say this to me. I cannot explain it. It is just something which happens.
Say, I've just had a crazy idea. Rather than speaking your lines, why not sing them?
Sing them? That is an interesting thought, but would it not be strange?
Strange? Haven't you ever heard of opera?
But if only I am singing and no one else?
It's a little unorthodox, sure, but isn't that what art is all about? Being expressive, doing the unexpected. I think it will really bring some emotion to the role. It'll be like your character is too pure to just say words. The feeling is so strong she has to sing them.
Yeah, I think I see what you are saying. Very well. I will try this next time.
Goodbye, Miss Holder.
Lovely to be speaking with you.
I'm going to try that other wax tablet as well. I think that was probably the puzzle that was to be solved with these, but nonetheless, let's just have a look. Last one.
Oh, I do not like this one. It reminds me of sad times.
It is rather grim. Have you used it in a show before?
Miss Hitomi says audiences prefer happy endings.
Okay, let's go back this way.
All right there, Danny?
Yep.
Hey there.
Oh, hello.
How do you feel about boxing?
I'd be happier doing any kind of unarmed fighting style, really. But how am I supposed to box a dragon?
With style and panache, that's how. It's all about confidence. And I have a feeling you'd look much more confident without that sword.
You don't think the audience would be confused?
It's your job to make them believe it. They just want a good show.
I don't know. We've never done a boxing scene. I don't really know a lot about the form.
I used to do some boxing back in the day. Could show you some moves if you like.
Heck, sure, why not? And this whole sword thing clearly isn't working for me. But I'd rather not do it bare knuckle. Not really into the whole suffering for my art thing.
Right. I'll see what I can come up with. Thanks.
Well, we've already found the boxing gloves.
Thanks, ma'am.
Why don't we give those to him?
I found some boxing gloves in Miss Hitomi's trunk, if you want to practice sparring.
Oh, sure. That'd be great.
Danny, how'd you like to help out?
Sure.
First, your stance is all wrong. Stagger your feet, 1 foot in front, weight evenly balanced, knees slightly bent. Good. Now, show me what you can do. Not bad. Not bad. Try not to let your elbow flare out, Dwayne. Protect the ribs. I think you boys are getting the hang of it.
Okay, we'll leave them to it. Let's go and talk to Quentin again.
Could I have a moment, Mr. Ellis?
Of course, my dear.
Is it true you used to have a magic act?
Why, yes, it is. Funny, I'd almost forgotten. Katie and I briefly tried our hand at stage magic. She was quite adept at sleight of hand, but in the end, it wasn't our true métier. Too much meticulous planning and bulky, specialized equipment. No room for spontaneity and delight. No emotional connection. No, it wasn't for us. Now Katie uses the old magic trunk to store costumes.
Miss Hitomi said something about you being unhappy with your character?
Oh, don't get me started. The evil wizard is a stock villain, paper thin, a cipher. All I do is tromp on stage and glower at the audience. He wants to rule the kingdom and kidnaps the princess, all right, but why? What motivates him to do it? Drama comes from a rich depth of character, complexity, not caricature. I need something I can work with, something to sink my teeth into.
What if Jake and I came up with a better history for your character?
Do you think you could?
Sure. Harley's got the gift of writing, and I've been known to spin a yarn or two.
Very well. I must admit I'm curious to see what you come up with. Why does the wizard want to rule the kingdom?
He has humble origins, but always felt he was meant for greater things.
Yeah, it's been his ambition since childhood, but he's never been given a fair shake.
Ah, yes. Destiny, ambition, greed. Classic stuff. All right, but why does he kidnap the princess?
He's actually keeping her safe from the dragon.
Unexpected. I like it. And how does the dragon fit into all this?
What about that last one? What if he's trying to take... Go on then.
The wizard wants to tame the dragon and harness its power to serve the kingdom.
Ah, I see. So truly he's just misunderstood. It's all a bit conventional, isn't it? Just the usual tropes. Where's the depth? Perhaps you should give it a bit more thought.
Let's take an...
Alright, let's come up with another one. He wants to save
He
it.
doesn't want to rule. He wants to save the kingdom.
Yeah, in his mind, he's the real hero.
Oh, intriguing. A subversion of our expectations. All right, but why does he kidnap the princess?
Well, he liked this one about protecting her from the dragon, didn't he?
He's actually keeping her.
And how does...
And the dragon is really his mother transformed.
The dragon is the wizard's mother, transformed by a spell he can't break.
Unless he feeds the princess to her.
Oh my, this certainly took a turn. You have some unusual ideas.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they
I think
all
Jake
quite
ruined that
fit
last
together.
one.
Perhaps you...
Alright, let's try another one.
Why?
We're going to go with the say...
all right.
The protector from the dragon. And then harness its power for good.
Ah, I see. Yes, yes. Oh, this is a much more interesting and complex figure. The wizard is human, like any of us. He has his own needs and desires. He is conflicted. He strives to do the right thing, however that appears to him. He is the protagonist of his own story. This I can work with. Thank you.
Think nothing of it. Appreciate the chat.
The pleasure was all mine, dear.
So Faye is still the difficult one, and we need her brandy to fix the dragons. So, maybe if we talk to Nadine again, she might have an idea.
Nothing to say, really.
All right, or not. So can I give this to her?
My dear, I have no interest.
I take this now?
No.
A poster for some show I've never heard of called The Dissembling Mech. Apparently it opened on New Year's Day.
Okay, I'm starting to get... I think I'm getting a sense for the brass buttons one. So dissembling is 1. Hang on. What are the notes again?
What a mess. Most of these... Othello, Carondelet, Dissembling, Delphi. Wonder what that means.
Yeah, Othello was the 7th of October. Carondelet was June 2nd, I think?
It's a poster. A poster for the...
November 6th. So this... Oh, sorry, what order was this again?
What? Othello,
Othello.
Carondelet, Dissembling, Delphi. Wonder what that means.
I'm sure it's something to do with these buttons, but how do I get Harley to, like, open them? We had... Hang on, what was the first... Othello was...
A brass button.
7.
Mr. Ellis said this was Miss Hitomi's old magic trunk. Maybe these buttons aren't...
Aha! Okay, so let's try it in the order. So Othello was the 7th. Dissembling Delphi. So Carondelet was the 2nd. Dissembling was the 1st. And then Delphi was the 4th?
Damn. Seems I didn't press them in the right sequence.
We'll come back to that. Hang on.
A poster...
Oh, the Delphi was the 6th. Yeah, let's try that again. So we'll go 7. Carondelet was the 2nd. Then we have Dissembling the 1st, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be this one. Hey!
Fantastic. Quite a bit of cash in here. So Miss Hitomi is skimming off the profits? Perhaps that book might shed some light on things. I'd better take a look at this. Huh. It seems Miss Hitomi's keeping the extra money to invest in the show. She calls it a rainy day fund, and she has a separate space for emergency salary reserve. So Mrs. Davies was wrong. I ought to show her this. Maybe it'll calm her down.
Okay, cool. I think we're done then.
I found this ledger in Miss Hitomi's trunk, along with some cash.
So I was right. This is exactly the proof I was looking for.
It's not quite what you think. Look at the entries.
Rainy Day Fund. Emergency Salary Reserve. Why, she isn't keeping this for herself.
She's setting it aside to help you all.
Oh dear, how embarrassing. What a fool I've been.
We all make mistakes. So now that you know your position is safe, will you get on stage and perform?
Yes, of course. Thank you for clearing up this misunderstanding. I really do appreciate it.
Okay, should probably let's take
I
this
don't
now.
think she'll be needing this anymore.
Gonna give that to Phil. And we should have a show on our hands.
Here, how about this for some fuel?
Yes, this will work. Excuse me, I must go backstage and set up the prop.
I think we might be ready.
Miss Hitomi,
Yes?
I think you can try a second rehearsal now.
Really? You sure?
Positive. Let's get this show going.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a beautiful and charming princess.
How I love my land. The people are kind, the water fresh, and the day sunny and bright.
The princess was loved and admired by everyone in the land, except one. An evil wizard coveted the kingdom and kidnapped the princess, intending to marry her and gain the throne.
Hark! You may think me evil, but wait until you discover my true intentions.
To ensure she could not escape, he summoned a terrifying dragon to guard her. However, all was not lost. For a young hero rose to the challenge.
I shall battle the dragon and save the princess. That is, if my dear mother lets me.
My dearest boy, proud as I am of your bravery, I worry so for your safety.
Fear not, mother, for I shall return victorious from battle.
Now he's going to box the dragon.
So the brave lad rode to the castle and confronted the mighty dragon.
Foul beast, your end is nigh!
With the dragon defeated, our brave hero rescued the princess and vanquished the wizard.
Curses! My plans have been foiled.
Oh, my brave son has returned.
Ah, your highness, I am smitten by your beauty. Will you marry me?
Yes, yes, gladly will I marry you.
And they lived happily ever after.
I mean, it's odd, but it's better, I guess.
Well, at least we made it through to the end that time. Your fixes made a big difference. It's given me a lot to consider. Quentin has offered to do some rewrites. I'm sure he'll get us in good shape by next week.
Glad to be of service.
I'm curious to know how it all turns out. Send me a note at the Rosewater Post after you premiere.
Gladly.
We should be on our way. Miss Johnson has surely awoken from her nap by now.
True enough. Break a leg next week, Miss Hitomi.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Oh, that was interesting. Not what I expected to be doing this episode, but that's a good
We
thing.
did what we could for Miss Hitomi and her folk. In the end, they formed a strange kind of family, and they seemed determined to keep on going. We've kept on going too. The oppressive, arid heat is beginning to give way to fresh breezes and forested slopes as we leave the desert scrub behind and cross into the mountains. Onward and upward.
Okay. Right, well I think that's probably a good place to leave it for this time, so thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. Putting on a play. In fact, I think we've got a new souvenir here. Let's have a little look.
It's an autographed paratype of the Queen's Mid-Atlantic Players. Miss Hitomi gave it to us before we left.
Very nice. I like that we're sort of gathering little trophies and mementos of the things that we've done on the road. Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, if you could hit that like button, that'd be fantastic. And leave a comment as well. It'd be great to know what you thought of this episode, what you think of the game in general, this playthrough. Anything you like, really. It's just always great to get your thoughts. And if you're watching this and still not subscribed to the channel, if you could do that as well, that'd be amazing. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.